Mr. Levine.
My name is Mark Levine. I'm counsel for the Gertrude Stein Democratic Club, the largest gay political organization in the district. I know I only have 3 minutes. I have a lot to cover, so I will speak fast. But I ask you to please ask me any questions you have at the hearing. I will also seek to meet with each and every member of the council that has any questions or concerns about the amendments I propose today. They are important. Stein wholeheartedly endorses the legislation, but I'm a former legislative counsel in Congress. I know even good legislation can be made better. My goal is to help you. I'm the only non-government attorney to defend this council personally before a court of law against Mr. Jackson's referendum. I suspect I'll have to do it again against Mr. Jackson's initiative. I want to help you win in a court of law, and I can do that if you make your intent perfectly clear. You should make clear that Dean is legislatively overruled. You should make clear that the Human Rights Act applies. You should make clear that the gender-neutral language of the D.C. Code already permits same-sex couples to marry. That's due to the very hard work of the 3 members of the council I see before me right now. Because the code is today gender neutral, it should not add gender-specific terms like bride or groom. Spouse will suffice. Everyone should be treated equally under the law, whether male or female. I also want to track the 15th Amendment to the United States Constitution. It does not say blacks and ex-slaves are now permitted to vote. It says all citizens should be allowed to vote regardless of race, color, or prior condition of servitude. Similarly, this council shouldn't say same-sex couples are now permitted to vote. It should say all citizens of the district are permitted to marry. It should say all citizens of the district are allowed to marry regardless of their gender or sexual orientation. I agree with Bob Summersgill and Rick Rosendahl of GLAA that domestic partnership law should not be sunsetted in this bill. That's a very complex provision. Let's do it elsewhere. I also agree with them that to honor D.C. autonomy, marriage licenses should be issued by a D.C. agency rather than the courts. In return, both of them endorse my amendments, as does the GLAA. I also support the current provision that Mr. Catania drafted on religious organizations. It is good as drafted, and if you want to change it, I hope you'll talk with me and other members of the community before you do change it. It says that if you are open to the public, you have to serve the public. Gays and lesbians are part of the public, and you can't say you serve the public and exclude gays and lesbians from the marketplace. This is what we learned in Ollie's Barbecue. They didn't want to serve blacks. Well, I'm sorry. If they want to follow the law, they had to become a private club in order to discriminate against blacks. Many religious organizations get a lot of money from the government. I worked very hard opposing George Bush's faith-based initiative. I helped establish in Congress the law, federal law, which says that if you get money from the government, you cannot discriminate. That's the law in the federal government. There's no reason why D.C. should be less progressive than the federal government. I also want to mention that the United States Supreme Court has held that convicted prisoners have a right to marry, and I would ask Ms. Alexander and Mr. Berry if they really think that law-abiding gay couples should have less rights than convicted prisoners. Finally, I would note that no one who is married, who opposes marriage equality, has ever said they would divorce their spouse if gay and lesbian couples were allowed to marry. Thank you.
Thank you, each of you, for your testimony. Mr. Catania, do you have any questions?
No questions. I want to thank each of the witnesses. Thank you.
Mr. Graham, do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, each of you, for your testimony. Your testimony is helpful. Mr. Levine will look this over as carefully.
Thank you.